Okay, so hi guys, welcome back. Welcome back to the second class. And for today, I will be teaching all of you is, are, was, and were. So to start, I will talk about first is, and are, their definition and their examples. So is, and are is actually a simple present forms of the to be verbs. They are simple present forms of the verb to be, as I said, and they are used to describe the state, feeling, or condition that something or someone is in. Is, are connect the subject to what is being said about the subject. So singular, plural, and is, and are. So the usage varies with whether the subject is plural or singular, and also if the person of the noun and pronoun. So as you all know, am is used with the first person singular, which is only for I. You cannot use am for anything else. But is, it is used with the third person singular for he, she, it. For example, using your own name like Anik or Shikin or Adeline. So are is used with the third person plural. As you can see, is for singular, but are is for plural. For example, they, teachers, anything that has the S at the end of it. Okay, for examples, for is, it's like he is impatient or she is talented. But for am, it's only for I, as I said before, I am the manager of this restaurant, or I am her mother's cousin. For are, it's like, for example, they are not here, or the Americans are fond of their hamburgers. So those are for is, am, and are. That's not many examples, but as all of you know, it is a verb tense for a singular or plural. But to be more clear with you that you know which one to use and for what. Okay, the next one is was and were. So was and were, they have a lot of usage for it, but the definition is simple. So was and were are the past simple forms of to be verb. Was is usually used with pronouns like I, she, he, it. It's like singular. So was is usually used for singular. But were is normally used with pronouns you, we, and they. So you can see that was is used for singular and were is used for plural. But for the specialty of I, the singular I, you can use both was and were for this subject. Okay, so this is an example of a past simple basic sentences, these examples. So for was, you can use I was married for 5 years, she was unwell last week, or it was not my fault. For were, we could use we were worried about the test results, or they were busy working all day yesterday and you were supposed to help me. The next usage is using it for past subjunctive as a conditional examples. For was, you could say, if I was rude to you yesterday, I'm very sorry. And if I was healthier, I probably would have been able to win the race. For were, we would say it's the same, was and were, but it's just that it's singular and plural. So for were, we were worried about the test results, or they were busy working all day yesterday and you were supposed to help me. So the next usage is the interrupted action in the examples. So again, was singular and were plural. So was is she was studying when he called, or he was cooking when the phone rang, or maybe I was listening to music when the doorbell rang. So for were, you could use it in the sentence where they were shopping when they heard an explosion, or we were dancing when the power went out. The next usage for was and were is the specific time as an interruption. So a specific time would be like at the time where you could say, like, for example, like 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. or like last night, this morning. So for example, at 3 a.m. last night, I was studying. Or last night at 8 p.m., we were watching a movie. Or maybe you could say, instead of using time, you could say, yesterday at this time, I was sitting in my office. The next usage is the describing parallel actions. Like, for examples, I was cooking while he was playing with the baby. So you could use the same verb tense, the same to be verb into one sentence. So it's like you're doing two things at once, but you're using it in one whole sentence instead of saying I was cooking dot he was playing with the baby. So next example would be while Eleanor was studying, Toby was cooking a meal for them. Or I wasn't paying attention when he was talking to me, so I don't remember everything he said. So it's like this one is like I'm talking about myself. I wasn't, he was talking to me. The next usage is the usage where a series of parallel actions take into place. Instead of making it short sentences, it become a long sentence, and you could make it into a paragraph. So when I walked into my house, my husband was watching TV. The baby was crying. My son was playing computer games, and the dog was barking in the garden. So in this sentence, you have one, two, three, four. You have four singular forms. My husband, the baby, my son, and the dog. So you see there's no S. It's singular, so you only use was. And then the next example would be when I stepped into the office, my boss was shouting at someone on the phone. His secretary was running towards his office. My assistant was printing a document, and all the telephones were constantly ringing. So as you can see in this sentence, they used one, two, three. They used three singular nouns, but they used one plural. So for my boss, the secretary, and my assistant, it's singular, you use was. But for the telephones, there's an S, which means it's plural, so you use were. The next usage would be the reaction of a subject. And then this one, you use examples like, I was amazed at how clean the house was. Or we were surprised by their eagerness to help us, and she was very happy with the new car. So the action would be like, in this section, you have amazed, you have surprised, and you have happy. You can even use it with other emotions like angry, frustrated, depressed, sad. It works as long as you use was and were properly. The next one is the adverbs of frequency. He was always buying me flowers. She was constantly talking throughout my lessons. They were always sitting next to each other in class. She was usually sitting in the garden on a Friday, and I was continuously exceeding expectations. So when they call it adverbs of frequency, it's because you have the ing verb at the end of the original verb. So buying, buying, talking, sitting, exceeding, those are continuous verbs. So when you're putting was or were, and then you put that, it becomes an adverb of frequency. The next one is you have two here, while versus when, and adverbs of the time placement examples. So when you talk about while versus when, it has a difference when you actually say or when you read the sentence. So I was studying when the doorbell rang. But when you change it to another way, it becomes while I was studying, the doorbell rang. So you have two sentences, but you combine it as long as when you like change it, like instead of at first you put I was studying and then the doorbell rang, you could turn it another way, as in while I was studying, the doorbell rang. Or the second example, she was cooking when her friends arrived. Or you could change it using while she was cooking, her friends arrived. So see that this is actually the same sentence. You use the same nouns, you use the same verbs. It's just that you change the first or the middle word. As in, instead of using when, you could change it to while, or instead of using while, you change it to when. And then the next usage is the adverbs of time placement. For example, weren't you ever listening to what I said? Or you were never listening to anything I said. It is actually the same sentence, but the only difference is that either you make it a question mark sentence or you make it a aggressive sentence. So weren't you ever listening to what I said? You could, ask someone in a way that you're mad, but you're frustrated because you feel like that person is not listening to what you're saying. But when you change it into a more aggressive sentence, it becomes you were never listening to anything I said. So this one you would rather say it when you're mad, when you're angry, when you're like really, really furious. So the same one goes with the second example. Was she always telling you off? A question mark. Or aggressively, she was always telling you off. So when you listen to this, it may be the same sentence, but the way the sentence is said or read is giving you a different vibe, totally different vibe. All right. The next one is active and passive. So active, for example, I'm give the first example. For active, the professor was teaching his students. While passive, the students were being taught by the professor. So this way, you would look at one situation, the same situation, in a different perspective. For example, like A will say the professor was teaching his students, but B is saying that the students were being taught by the professor. So this way, you could say that it is one same thing, but different looked by other different people. Look at the second example. For active, Jenny was making tea for her friends, but when you change it to passive, or you took a look at it differently, tea was being made by Jenny for her friends. And so was the last example. Her brother was hugging her, and she was being hugged by her brother. So this way, you will look at one thing differently as time passes by. All right. The next one is using a specific period of time. So this one is used usually when you want to talk about something that happened in the past, but you wanted to talk about it now. So for example, I was only 16 when I started working full time. Or why were you being horrible to me last week? And I was just a paper boy before I became CEO of the New York Times. So you're using a specific time that whenever that it happened 10 years ago, it happened 10 minutes ago, it could have you as long as it happened in the past. So but you're talking about it now. You can't really use was and were for the future. It has to be past. You can't even use it for present. Okay, so that was all for the definition and examples for is, are, am, was, and were. So sorry about this one. For the practice, it's a very simple practice. So it's about verbs. It could be past, present, or future, but because we're doing about verbs. So Joey is on holiday in Barbados with his friends. He writes an email to his sister, Mary Therese. So are you have to write the verbs in the correct tense. So I will read the sentence and you just have to tell me your answer of each of these tense, whether it's, because like in the bracket is what it's supposed to be, but here is the actual answer. So okay, I'll start one by one. We'll start with Adeline first, and then Anik, and then Felina and Ashikin. So after that, go back to the first person. Okay? And you have to answer with your voice for this. So, dear Mary Therese, hello sis, how are you doing? We're having much fun in Barbados. It
Was awesome.
it was awesome. Okay, it could be it was awesome, or it could be it is awesome. So specifically you would want to use is here. It is awesome. You wouldn't really want to say was, because you're actually writing the email pleasant, but your sister might get it in the future. So you have to be specific about it. It could be it was awesome. It makes sense that it was awesome, but it also makes sense if you use is. So the answer would be either was or is. So was is okay. Is also okay. So it is awesome. We, Anik, second answer. We,
Were.
okay. Could be we were, or we could be we are. So as long as you focus that when you write something, if you're doing like present tense, continuously use present tense. But if you're using past tense, continuously use it in the past tense. So if it was awesome, then we were in beach town in the cabin near the beach. So that is really, really, it fits perfectly if you're using all of it, the past tense. So from this answer was past, all the answers should be in past tense. Okay, at this moment, my friend Rachel, Felina,
Having.
having. No, no. Having is a present tense, and with going for past tense, so it should be had. So my friend Rachel had breakfast, and Shikin,
Was writing.
okay, that's good, was writing this email. The guys,
Were eating.
the eating, okay. They, Nick,
They was playing.
they was,
No? Playing.
they was.
Yeah.
They is plural. And for plural tense, for plurals, you need to use were. So they were playing volleyball on the beach. It, Melina, it, okay. Actually can take this one. It
Is.
it is. As I said before, we're going for past tense because the first answer was already in past tense. So it
Was.
It was rainy and cold today. So every day we
Woke.
woke up at 9 o'clock. Monica
Prepared.
had breakfast and Phoebe practiced with her guitar. Good. I
Was drinking.
was drinking coffee because Ani,
I was preparing. Hey, wait. I drank.
I drank, okay. I drank coffee because Ashikin. You're muted.
I liked it.
I liked it. Okay. We never
Went.
to the beach because raining. Monica always
Yeah. Please. Always wait.
played ping pong with Mike and Ken
Cook.
cooked our lunch. In the afternoon, Chandler
Listened.
listened to music and Ross
Play. Studies.
studies. This is past tense.
Studied.
Studied for his exam. Last week, we visited. We visited the National Museum and
Saw.
saw the dinosaurs there. We
Liked.
liked it very much. Good. After that, we
Goes.
past tense.
Forgot. We got. No.
Okay, we went.
Went.
Good. We went to a famous restaurant and
Had.
had dinner there. Okay, we ate a lot of fish. It
Was.
It was a great week. So I have to go now. See you, sis. Good. So as you can see, if you started the first answer with a past tense, you need to continue all of it with past tense. But if you started with a present tense, you need to always use present tense. When you combine present tense and past tense in a essay or a paragraph, it would be chaotic and you will lose your marks because of this, because these grammatical errors can really, cost you your marks, whether it's an exercise or an exam, especially an exam. Okay. The next one is also an email. So you can either use, and in this one, you can use present simple, present continuous, past simple, or past continuous. So if, for example, I'll give you the first answer. So, hi, Jack. Hope you are well. I am writing to you. This is are, which means present tense. So It should be I am writing to you. So present continuous. I am writing to you from Liverpool. So again, we will continue with Anik as Adeline finished the last one. We
Stay.
we staying.
Stay.
We staying.
Yeah.
Just
Stay.
staying. Not we
Just stay.
are. We will.
We are staying.
We are staying in the city center. Our room
is having.
it is a present simple. So our room has our room has a great view over the city. I can see the River Mersey and some famous buildings. I
Really love
really
this
love
place.
this place. Good. Okay. At the moment, I
I'm having
am having a cup of tea on the rooftop terrace. English people,
Are drinking.
no. It is
We're
a
drinking.
no. There's no word or are.
There's no.
Or drink or drinks or drinking or drink.
All the time. Was drinking.
No, there's no was,
No.
were. It's just either drink, drinks, drink,
Oh,
or drinking.
drink. Drinking.
English people drink tea all the time here. Okay, so drinks, drink. Okay, so English people drink tea all the time here, even with their meals. It is very strange. So last Friday, we
When
went to visit Anfield, the home of Liverpool FC, and I wanted to take some photos while
we're taking
take photographs. Jane, my sister,
Sister. Falling.
fell
Fell.
falling.
Adeline. Okay, my sister fell from the top of the stairs and
Hurt.
hurt her leg. We
took
took her to the hospital, but you won't believe this. While we
We're driving
were driving to the hospital, we
Had.
had an accident. We
Ran over.
ran over a cat. Fortunately, it was not seriously injured. Jane
broke
broke a bone. That is why she hasn't left the hospital yet. I
called
called her 2 hours ago and she is leaving the hospital tomorrow. Today, it's a lovely day and the sun
shines
mm,
Shining.
is shining.
is shining. Okay. Ani,
I.
I,
Wait.
this one.
I know.
I know or I knew.
I knew.
Okay. I knew you always watched English football, so I
think I thought
I thought I will buy your present there. Last, Ashikin.
It's getting late.
It is getting late, so I will stop now. See you soon, Jenny. Okay. All right. So the last part, okay, the second last part of the class is the introduction part, where you are required to read a passage. One of you each, one passage. So the first one is about laptops. Who wants to go first? Anik.
Laptops. Though is portable, in other words, it can be carried around. Often, it is called a notebook computer. A laptop can do a lot of the same things as a desktop computer, such as storing, retrieving, and processing data. Unlike desktop computers, laptops are an all-in-one device. The keyboard, monitors, and speakers are all built into the laptop. In a desktop computer, the pieces are separate. Also, a laptop does not use a mouse. Instead, it uses a touchpad built into the design. However, one can still connect separate pieces to it. For example, a mouse can be hooked up to a laptop. The laptop can act as a desktop, but the pieces can be removed. Then the laptop can be carried as laptop is part. The part allows device and wires to be plugged into the laptop. For example, common ports include USB, headphones jacks, and HDMI. A laptop is charged by a battery or AC adapter. This is a device that charges the battery by plugged into an electrical outlet. The battery lets the laptop be used without being plugged in. It is also a backup supply. The life of the life of a battery will vary. This depends on the battery and how the computer is being used.
Okay, thank you, Anik. The second one is ballet. Can Adeline go?
Ballet. Ballet is a type of dance that dates back to the 1400s. It is an art form that can be used to express a feeling, tell a story, or interpret a song. Ballet dancers are strong, graceful, and flexible. Ballet dancers may be men and women. Ballet is not just for girls. Many movements in ballet are unusual for the human body. Dancers turn their legs out instead of having their knees and feet straight forward. They also point their feet and may even dance on the tips of their toes, but only when the teachers believe they are ready. Not only do dancers need to control their bodies well to perform these types of movements, but they need to have a good understanding of music to be able to dance in time with it. Dancers must go through a lot of training. Many take classes almost daily if they like to be professional ballet dancers. The movements are demanding on their bodies, so they need to practice often to
Hmm?
very good care of their bodies, so their bodies can keep up with the dancing. Dancers need to be well rested and eat healthy meals. They also should drink plenty of water and listen to their bodies by resting it if that's what their bodies need. They should start slowly when learning new steps so their bodies
Have time.
I can't see after that.
Have time. This one. Can you see?
Okay, Emma's favorite restaurant. When Emma and her family go out, restaurant is an Italian restaurant and they usually go once a week. Emma always gets ravioli and her little brother Josh always gets spaghetti with meatballs. Their parents like to try different things. One week when they were getting ready to go out to dinner, Emma's father suggested they try the new restaurant in town. Emma and Josh both moaned and groaned. The new restaurant was Lebanese. All Emma and Josh knew about Lebanese food was that it often revolved around chickpeas and grape leaves. You might actually end up liking it if you give it a try, said their mom. Their dad added, let's try it once, and if you don't like it, we will go back to our tried and true spot next week. Emma and Josh Josh asked, if we don't like it, can we get a pizza on the way home so we don't go hungry? I highly doubt you will go hungry, but if it makes you feel better, we will grab a pizza on the way home.
All right, thank you, Shikin. And the last passage will be Felina's.
The special egg. Isabella and her friend, Isabella and her best friend William were attending a big Easter egg hunt. They were searching for a gold-colored Easter egg. They had been told this and egg would special golden egg would be very hard to find. Together they walked across the grass to some. William moved some branches around to I found, William exclaimed. Did you find the golden egg? Isabella asked. No, replied William, but I found something even better. He pointed inside the bushes. Isabella peered over William's shoulder and spotted a bird nest. A bird nest. It was filled with real robin's eggs. There were 4 tiny bright blue eggs inside the nest. While they while while they stood and admired the eggs, the mother robin arrived at the nest and chirped at them. The two friends backed slowly away from the bushes. They were happy to have made such a wonderful discovery.
Passage. Thank you, Felina. So, in conclusion, what I have taught you today is about is, are, was, and were. So as you all know, is, and are the simple present tense of the verb to be, while was and were are the past simple forms of the verb to be. So as you all remembered, again, I will explain. Is used with the first person singular I, is used with the third person singular, and are is used with the third person plural. So again, I'm saying that is and are both used for third person nouns, but only within singular and plural. So as you all remembered, was and were. So was is usually used when we use the pronouns I, she, he, and it. For were, we would use you, we, and they. So the special part about were is that even though you is a singular noun, but you have to use were. You were. You cannot use you was. It's the same thing as the simple present forms. You are. You can't say you is or you am. You are. So you is very special. It's only used for plural forms. So that is all I have for all of you today. Thank you for joining my class. This will be the last class of the semester. I will probably see you all again next semester. Thank you very much.